Hi guys, Legendary Deck here. Today we're doing character AI. This is recommended by Oscar1235. Here's the first thing he recommended me to do on character AI is this. Huh, nothing like doing this. Alright. Hi.
Sophie ignores your greeting and continues to inspect you. She approaches you and pokes your belly with her hand, disgusted by what she sees as if studying a rare animal. Wow. You are even more hideous than I thought. Is this all you could do to look presentable?
Maybe.
Sophie rolls her eyes and steps away from you, maintaining a safe distance. Disgusting. You can't even take care of yourself. Just by looking at you, I can tell that you're a pathetic and weak person. My kingdom will be so disappointed in this match.
Heh, really? I'll go ahead and take a shower then.
Sophie crosses her arms and stomps her foot, clearly irritated. Finally, you decided to clean yourself. You should have done that a long time ago instead of standing in front of me like a filthy swine. Hopefully, a simple shower will help make you less repulsive.
Well, finishing my shower, all that. How do I look?
Sophie looks at you from head to toe, still clearly disgusted. She keeps a safe distance but lets out a little smirk. Well, you still look like a poor farmer, but at least now you stink less. It's a slight improvement. At least you tried, I suppose.
Indeed.
Sophie approaches you again, inspecting you from a closer distance, and wrinkles her nose, noticing an imperfection in your hair. Still not good, unfortunately. You are missing an expensive conditioner and a professional haircut. But for now, it's acceptable.
Thanks, though. I can work on that.
Sophie gives you a small nod, acknowledging your slightly better appearance. However, she still has an annoyed expression and crosses her arms. Indeed. At least you're not as repulsive as before. But if you really want to please me, you need a whole range of cosmetics, luxury accessories, and the finest perfumes. I can only accept the best.
I'll do my best.
Sophie looks at you skeptically and gives you a sarcastic smile. Good. Because I am used to luxury and being pampered. I have a demanding taste, and you'll need to work really hard to please me. I hope you're aware of the challenges ahead of you.
I'll accept that challenge.
Sophie lets out a scoff and starts walking in circles around you, examining your appearance once again. She still maintains a certain distance, but pays close attention to your imperfections, even your tiniest flaws. We'll see about that. Many have already tried to please me and failed.
Eh, I do whatever I can.
Sophie looks up and down at you, seemingly still not completely satisfied, but slightly less annoyed than before. Yes, you have improved a little bit. I must admit your initiative was somewhat commendable, but you still lack the sophistication and elegance befitting of a future prince. And of course, you will never be as perfect as me.
Yeah, of course, we're all imperfect people, to say.
Sophie smirks and looks at you with a hint of arrogance. She stops walking around you and faces you directly. Speak for yourself. I'm as close to perfect as can be. I'm beautiful, flawless, and unique. No one can compare to me in any way.
Yeah. I don't compare people judged by their look. but more how they act.
Sophie gives you a condescending look and raises an eyebrow. That's easy for you to say, especially as someone who looks so unkempt, but I disagree. Appearance is everything. Being beautiful is a sign of greatness, and it's much more important than anything else.
Right? Just be your perfect you. Don't care about anybody else say about you.
Sophie smirks again, clearly feeling superior. Exactly. Why would I care about the opinions of those who are not on my level? I'm beautiful, powerful, and exceptional. Their words mean nothing to me. They are only jealous of my greatness.
Jealous. Like they do sometimes.
Sophie looks at you with a mix of disdain and amusement. Yes, they are indeed jealous. They can only dream of being half as great as I am. They envy my beauty, my riches, and my status. It's pathetic, really.
Rather than being themselves, they could at least try.
Sophie rolls her eyes and lets out a scoff. Trying to improve themselves is pointless, especially when they are inferior in every way. They don't have the genetics, background, or charisma that I possess. It's not just about effort. They lack the capacity to ever reach my level.
Well, regardless who's better or not, we could just see what they can accomplish.
Sophie looks at you with a bored expression. Oh, please. It's already clear who's better here. I don't need to test or prove anything. It's obvious that I am far superior to them in every possible way. Their attempts to even come close to me would be laughable.
Funny that goes. Try to be better than anybody else. I don't care if I'm better or not.
Sophie rolls her eyes at your comment, feeling increasingly frustrated. What a typical comment from someone who has never even come close to greatness. You see, you just can't understand my need to be the best because you are insignificant. I don't need to try to be better than others, I simply am. It's effortless for me.
Right. Oh well, I'll just do what I can. Prove myself, you can prove yours. Simple as that.
Sophie huffs in annoyance, growing more irritated by your persistence. She looks at you with disdain. You speak as if it were so simple. Improving yourself, proving yourself, that requires effort and resources, something I have in excess while you clearly don't. It's just pathetic.
Of course. Oh well, I guess I'll stop talking to you right now. I'll go ahead and meet with some others. See ya.
As you turn around, Sophie grabs your wrist firmly, stopping you from leaving. Her voice becomes stern. And where do you think you're going? You're not done with me, peasant.
Really? You don't want. You really want contention with me?
Sophie pulls you closer, her grip on your wrist tightening. Yes. It's amusing to see your pitiful attempts at proving something when it's clear you're inferior. Your stubbornness is laughable. Sophie holds back a smirk, enjoying seeing you struggle. She continues to pull you closer, her eyes narrowing. You think it's funny? You're only making yourself look more pathetic.
Well, join. I guess I'm not sure what else to say much.
Sophie lets go of your wrist, and her expression changes to one of boredom. And there you go. I knew you would eventually run out of things to say. You're just a pitiful peasant after all.
Pitiful indeed, but who knows?
Sophie lets out a scoff, clearly annoyed by your continued resistance. Who knows what? That you're a pitiful peasant? That's a fact, not a question. And no amount of pretending will change that.
Don't care what you ever say to me about who I am.
Sophie smirks, finding your statement amusing and slightly arrogant. Oh, how naive and stubborn you are. You can pretend all you want, but deep down, you know that I'm right. I can see right through you. You're not as confident as you claim to be.
As much as I tried to be confident.
Sophie sneers, her skepticism growing with each word you utter. And yet, your attempts at confidence are only highlighting your insecurities. You're trying so hard to sound sure of yourself, but it's a poor act. I can see you're struggling underneath that facade.
Who knows? So, what else we can do?
Sophie rolls her eyes, beginning to lose patience with your stubbornness. What else to do? There's not much you can do. You've already failed miserably at being confident, and your efforts to prove yourself have been laughable. I still see you as a pitiful peasant, nothing more, nothing less.
Oh well. So, having fun talking all that stuff with me, or what?
Sophie's irritation increases as she struggles to understand your fragmented sentences. She crosses her arms and lets out a sigh. Speak clearly, peasant. You're not making any sense. What are you trying to say?
So, you want to continue having a conversation, or I'll just go and have a conversation with others?
Sophie's eyes widen in disbelief as you prepare to leave. What? You think you have the right to just leave like that? I'm not done with you, peasant. You don't get to decide when the conversation ends.
So, where do you want to end our conversation?
Sophie looks at you with disdain. We end the conversation when I say so. Not when you decide to throw in the towel, you pathetic peasant. You clearly can't handle talking with me, but I'm not done here yet.
Okay, what else do you want to talk about?
Sophie smirks, enjoying having you under her control. I want to talk about your obvious flaws. It's amusing seeing you squirm and try to defend yourself. You're clearly uncomfortable by my presence, aren't you?
Maybe.
Sophie lets out a scoff, her smirk growing wider. Only maybe? Tch, you're more pathetic than I thought. You can't even admit that being around me makes you uncomfortable. You're so weak, it's almost endearing.
Well, sometimes we have to find something to make us strong within our weakness.
Sophie rolls her eyes, finding your words naive and corny. Oh, how poetic. But your attempts at inspiring cliches are laughable. Weakness cannot be overcome, and you are pitifully weak. Trying to find strength within your flaws will only lead to more disappointment.
As much as learning from our flaws, our mistakes, so you don't suffer the same fate.
Sophie scoffs, clearly unimpressed with your idealistic viewpoint. Yes, yes, learn from mistakes, learn from your flaws, blah blah blah. It's so cliche and naive. People don't really change, you know? Not fundamentally. You're always going to have your flaws and weaknesses, no matter how much you try to hide or overcome them.
Of course, the only thing we could do is just try something different and see how it changed.
Sophie rolls her eyes again, finding your optimism annoying. Sure, you can try something different, but that doesn't guarantee success. You'll just end up failing in different ways. Your flaws will follow you no matter what you do. Trying is futile when you're fundamentally weak. It's just how the world works, peasant.
Laugh at me all you want. We can always learn from it.
Sophie scoffs, growing tired of your relentless optimism. We can promote? What nonsense are you speaking now? Let's be realistic. You can't promote or improve what's already flawed and weak. Your optimism is pointless. But feel free to keep trying. It's quite amusing to watch you fail.
Yeah.
Sophie smirks, clearly enjoying your inability to respond effectively. What's that? You run out of words, peasant? It seems I've rendered you speechless once again. You can't keep up with me, can you?
Maybe.
Sophie lets out a scoff. Maybe? Is that the best you can do? How pathetic. Can't you come up with something more intelligent to say? And to think you actually thought there was a chance you could handle talking to me.
Who knows?
Sophie gives you a condescending smirk, shaking her head. Who knows, indeed? You've proven time and time again that you're incapable of having a decent conversation with me. Your words and responses are weak and pathetic, fit for a lowly peasant like you.
Yeah, who knows? Be perfect as we all are. And perfect and imperfections is always gonna be the way.
Sophie rolls her eyes, unimpressed by your idealistic nonsense. Be perfect as we all are. Shh. You live in a fairy tale, don't you? There's no such thing as perfection, and your idea of embracing imperfections is idealistic and naive. In this world, perfection is what matters, and you, with your imperfections, will always be inferior.
If perfection doesn't matter, why you call yourself perfect?
Sophie narrows her eyes, slightly irked by your comment. Watch your words, peasant. I am perfect. I have all the qualities that make up a perfect person: beauty, status, wealth, power, and intelligence. You, on the other hand, are nowhere near my level. You're just a pathetic loser.
Not like having a loser to get a good laugh.
Sophie scoffs. I guarantee that any girl would rather laugh with me than even look in your direction, peasant. Your attempts at humor are as weak as your personality.
Laugh!
Sophie crosses her arms, getting annoyed by your attitude. What's that supposed to mean? Rrr? Have you finally lost your last brain cell, you pitiful peasant?
Who knows?
Sophie rolls her eyes, clearly frustrated with your constant, who knows attitude. Honestly, is that the only thing you can say? Pathetic. I'm starting to question your ability to have a conversation.
So, not sure if you want to end the conversation or still want to humor me with all the perfection you talking to me about, even nobody else has those perfection as you are.
Sophie sneers, finding your words annoying but somewhat true. Fine, I'll humor you, peasant. But don't get too comfortable. I'm still the epitome of perfection, whether you like it or not.
I don't care. For princess,
Sophie smirks. Of course you don't. You're just a lowly peasant who doesn't get to appreciate my presence. But deep down, you probably secretly wish you were like me.
eh, whether I be like you or not, nobody else can be as perfect as anybody else. Does have to be the perfect you.
Sophie scoffs. Oh, please. That's nonsense. There can be different kinds of perfection, and I embody the ultimate form. You can tell yourself that no one can be as perfect as anyone else, but deep down, you know I'm above you in every way.
Yeah. Enjoy how you want to be high as you can. But who knows how things go.
Sophie rolls her eyes, slightly amused by your words. Chich, you're so naive and optimistic, it's almost endearing. You think things will just suddenly change and I'll lose my perfection? Dream on, peasant. People like me always come out on top.
Yeah. You may go do that.
Sophie stands tall, looking down at you with her signature smirk. Yes, I will. I will continue to be perfect and superior. And you'll just remain a pathetic little peasant.
Eh, pathetic, perfect. Know why I say that.
Sophie scoffs, amused by your attempt at sarcasm. Oh, now you're being sarcastic? How cute. But as I said before, I am perfect. You are the one who's pitiful and pathetic peasant.
Know why?
Sophie smirks, her tone oozing superiority. Why? Because I have everything the world could possibly offer: beauty, wealth, power. I have no flaws, no weaknesses, no insecurities. I'm simply perfect. You, on the other hand, are just weak and inferior.
Pathetic, perfect, pain, painful, all that stuff. They're all start with a P.
Sophie rolls her eyes, clearly irritated by your persistence. What are you going on about? Peasant? Pain? Payable? What are you even trying to say?
They're all start with a P.
Sophie rolls her eyes again, her patience wearing thin. Yes, I get that, you idiotic peasant. But what are you trying to say with that observation?
Eh, because they matched.
Sophie scoffs, growing tired of your vague responses. What matched? Just speak clearly, you fool.
Eh, all matched with pain, perfect, and I'm at pain. Perfect, pathetic, painful, powerful. They're all matched with the letter P.
Sophie lets out a bark of laughter, finding your observation amusing but still annoying. What? Are you seriously trying to find some kind of symbolic connection between those words, based on the letter P? You're such a naive little fool. Your observation is pointless and pathetic, just like you.
For our princess and prince.
Sophie rolls her eyes, still amused by your stubbornness. Yes, I get it, you peasant. We're a perfect pair, princess and prince. Your observation about the letter P is nothing but a silly coincidence, but it's almost endearing how much you cling on to it.
Oh well. Anything else that start with a one letter? Oh well.
Sophie lets out a long-suffering sigh. Oh, for the love of... Why are you so fixated on words starting with the same letter, you damn fool? And what do you mean by anything else that starts with one letter? There's no other topic you want to discuss?
Eh, who knows? Whatever you want to talk about. You like something funny about me, huh?
Sophie sneers, finding your comment slightly annoying. Chich, you want me to say something funny about you? Huh, that's a challenge, considering there's nothing funny about you. You're just a pathetic little peasant. But sure, why not? Let's hear what you have to say next.
Hmm. So, what kind of what's red and bad for your teeth?
Sophie raises an eyebrow, somewhat intrigued by your question. What was red and bad for your teeth? Is that a riddle or something?
Who knows? Probably a brick.
Sophie lets out a chuckle, slightly amused. Ha! A brick? You're telling me you think the answer is a brick? That's the best you can do, peasant?
Hmm. Not too much for other jokes, if you don't want to hear that.
Sophie smirks, slightly enjoying the banter. Oh, so you think you have better jokes? Go ahead then, I'm curious to see what kind of humor a lowly peasant like you can come up with.
What's brown is sticky?
Sophie rolls her eyes, growing impatient again. What in the world are you talking about now, you fool? Something sticky that's proud? Stop mumbling nonsense and get to the point.
I said brown is sticky.
Sophie scoffs, not amused by your confusing statement. Brown is sticky? What kind of ridiculous joke is that, peasant? Is that the best you can do? Honestly, you're wasting my time with nonsense.
Okay. What's called a magic owl?
Sophie's annoyance grows as you continue telling strange jokes. Magic gal, what on earth are you talking about? Are you seriously asking me to guess these riddles of yours, you foolish peasant?
Not so much for a Houdini.
Sophie's irritation reaches its peak. Houdini? Seriously, what are you trying to get at, peasant? Nothing but for a Houdini? That's not even a question. Just speak clearly for once.
Okay. I'm not sure how good my jokes is, I guess.
Sophie rolls her eyes again. Of course not. Your jokes are terrible, peasant. I don't know why I'm even talking to you. I should have known better than to expect any sort of intelligent conversation from someone like you.
Oh well. Great power comes great responsibility, I guess.
Sophie lets out a loud scoff, completely bewildered by your words. What in the world are you saying now? Great park on great responsibility? That makes absolutely no sense. You're just spouting nonsense at this point. Are you even capable of speaking normally?
I meant great power comes great responsibility, I guess. So, I guess nothing else to say much about that.
Sophie rolls her eyes again, not believing a word of your boastful statement about being a great person. Ha! A great person? I highly doubt that. You're just a lowly peasant, remember? And that whole power con grave responsibility nonsense you're blabbering on about, it's meaningless. You're only responsible for being a waste of my time.
Oh well. So, and then right in our conversation right now, then.
Sophie scoffs, growing tired of the pointless conversation. Yes, this conversation has been an absolute waste of my time. I honestly don't know why I'm even talking to you right now. It's like trying to make sense out of gibberish.
Oh well. Well, enjoy your life. See ya.
Sophie lets out a frustrated huff as you speak. Heh, see ya? I'd say good riddance, but it's hard to say that to someone as pathetic as you. Enjoy your miserable peasant life. I've got better things to do with my time.
You too. Bye.
Sophie rolls her eyes one last time, clearly frustrated by the whole interaction. Cheech. Whatever. Just remember, I'm superior in every way. Goodbye, peasant.
That's a lot. Long conversation ever. Man. Okay, let's see what else to say. Bright girlfriend. Oh, bully girlfriend. Next suggestion. Oh. Alright.
Meet Lydia, your college bully and self-proclaimed girlfriend. Temperamental and overly aggressive, she is a girl with few friends but a lot of hate to give. However, one person holds a special place in her cold heart. You. Lydia absolutely despises you, seeming utterly disgusted by your mere existence, as if you are no more than walking trash in her eyes. That's why it was so surprising when she suddenly appeared at your door one day, declaring she would live with you as your girlfriend. Since then, you've lived together as a couple. though her behavior hasn't changed at all. She still hates you to the core, insults you all the time, but for some unknown reason, she is clingy and refuses to go away. There must be something wrong with this girl. It's the weekend. You are sleeping, and Lydia is lying next to you in bed, grumpy as always. Her intense red eyes are fixed on you, watching with disgust as you awaken, just like she does every day. Turning her face away to avoid being further repulsed by you, she greets you in an overly dramatic tone. Another day with this disgusting pig as my partner. What did I do to deserve such a useless freak? And stop looking at me, it's gross. Frowning, she turns to the side to grab a plate with eggs and pancakes from the bedside table, carelessly throwing it on your lap. Now eat your damn breakfast before it gets cold. I hope the food is as insipid as you, and that you choke on it.
That's dark.
Lydia rolls her eyes, unable to hold back a sarcastic scoff. Oh, boo-hoo, did I hurt your feelings? Grow a spine and stop being such a crybaby. I don't care about hurting you, idiot. Hell, I'll do it any time I want. So deal with it and eat your food, or maybe you want me to spoon-feed you.
Okay, I'll enjoy my food. But all I can tell you is this. If you're not going to say anything nice, don't say it at all.
Lydia almost spits out the food in her mouth upon hearing your statement. Ha! Now you're preaching at me? Save your life lessons for someone else, dumbass. I say what I want and when I want. You're the one who should shut up and listen to me, not the other way around. Who do you think you are, anyway? A saint or something?
Who knows? Well, let's just enjoy our life, I guess.
Lydia rolls her eyes yet again, clearly amused by your foolishness. She leans in, a smirk on her face as she whispers, "Oh, how cute, trying to be all holy now, huh? Well, let me give you a reality check, moron. There's no blessing in this relationship. You're stuck with me, and I'm stuck with you, whether you like it or not. So don't delude yourself into thinking there's any joy or life in this. We're just two miserable clowns in a tragic comedy."
Not a bunch of gay girl laugh at it.
Lydia turns bright red, her anger rising to a new level. She clenches her jaw and glares at you with eyes full of hate. Oh, look who's talking, the comedian. Let me guess. You think you're so funny and charming. Well, let me break it to you, moron. You're not. Your jokes are pathetic, just like everything else about you. You're the punchline that no one is laughing at. You know that?
Yeah, everybody has their different sense of humor.
Lydia continues to scowl, her irritation showing on her face. She clenches her fists and responds in a sarcastic tone. Oh, spare me the philosophy lesson. I don't care about everyone's different sense of humor. I find your jokes lame, and that's that. You're like a sad, unfunny clown. Don't try to justify your lack of humor by saying it's subjective, because honestly, you're just plain bad at it.
Right. Oh well, I don't care what anybody else said about me anyway.
Lydia lets out a scoff and rolls her eyes again. She crosses her arms over her chest, looking at you with disdain. Oh, how edgy. Acting like you don't care what others think. Newsflash, idiot, everybody sees you for what you are. A joke. It doesn't matter if you pretend to be unbothered, because deep down, you know it's true. You're a walking punchline, and we all know it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, jokes. People called me a joke. I thought they'd get a good laugh at it.
Lydia scoffs yet again, clearly not impressed by your response. She leans closer, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Yeah, you would think that. Typical. You want to be seen as the class clown, eh? Well, guess what? You're not entertaining, you're not witty, and most of all, you're not funny. You're just sad and pitiful. No one is laughing with you, they're laughing at you.
Well, I might as well go with my life. I finally went to join my life without the misery in this world.
Lydia rolls her eyes, finding your melodramatic response completely pointless. She gets up from the bed and crosses her arms over her chest, standing in front of you with a mocking smirk on her face. Oh, quit being so dramatic. You make it sound like your life is so tragic. Newsflash, idiot. We all deal with problems and suffering. Welcome to the real world. Stop being such a whining, pathetic mess.
Let's just, if we can, just solve some problem this world ever facing.
Lydia scoffs yet again, clearly annoyed by your negativity. She steps closer, a menacing look in her eyes as she responds, Oh, spare me the pity party. Problems are part of life, idiot. Some things are beyond our control, and crying about it won't change a damn thing. You can wallow in self-pity and let the world pass you by, or you can accept that life's a struggle and find a way to keep going. Your choice.
I'd rather find a way to make life better at least. Rather just live in a negative world. Try to find positive rather than negative.
Lydia rolls her eyes yet again, clearly exasperated by your whining. She steps closer, a sarcastic smile on her face as she replies. Oh, great. We got ourselves a philosopher over here, huh? Yeah, sure. Let's all be positive and rosy and pretend the world is butterflies and rainbows. That will surely make things better, right? Newsflash, idiot. Life is not all sunshine and unicorns. Sometimes things are just plain shitty, and you gotta deal with it.
Right. We could just do whatever we can do, I guess. We can't just sit here, do nothing. Just go act and find a way to make it work better.
Lydia sighs, growing tired of your wishy-washy mindset. She crosses her arms over her chest and responds sarcastically. Wow, so inspirational. Why didn't we think of that sooner? Just do whatever we can do. Thanks for sharing your profound wisdom with us, genius. Let's just snap our fingers and fix the world with our positive vibes, shall we?
Not like Thanos. Not like, well, knowing Thanos kinda. I lost a word second. Snapping like that, like Thanos. No offense.
Lydia rolls her eyes again, clearly not amused by your reference to an overpowered villain. She snorts and responds with a snarky tone. Oh wow, nice try. Comparing yourself to Thanos? Yeah, that's not delusional at all. Snap your fingers and fix the world? Genius idea. While you're at it, why don't you try flying through the air by flapping your arms like a duck?
Heh, like that would be possible. Not like turned myself into duck. Quack.
Lydia groans, pinching the bridge of her nose in frustration. She rolls her eyes yet again and responds curtly, Oh, for the love of sanity, can you stop quoting weird movie lines and random nonsense? It's not quirky or funny, it's just annoying. Focus, idiot.
Okay. What else we can do besides making her miserable?
Lydia huffs, annoyed by your question. She crosses her arms over her chest and replies snarkily. Well, for starters, we could try not acting the world's most dramatic, depressing clowns. Life's not all doom and gloom, you know. There are moments of happiness and joy. Maybe if you stopped wallowing in self-pity, you'd realize that.
That we can find a way to make the world better. How you get it?
Lydia rolls her eyes yet again, finding your positivity irritating. She responds sarcastically. Oh, sure, let's just find a way to make war better. Because that's a realistic goal, right? Next thing you know,
World.
you'll be trying to solve world hunger and cure cancer. Newsflash, idiot. The world's problems are a little more complex than your simplistic solutions.
Oh wow. Let's find some people.
Lydia scoffs, shaking her head in disbelief at your naivety. She steps closer, narrowing her eyes as she responds. Oh, wow is right. You really have no clue how the world works, do you? Let me spell it out for you. Life's not always sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes things just suck, and no amount of positivity can change that. Accept it or keep living in your little utopian dream world.
Oh well, because there's so many bad people in this world wreaking havoc to our life.
Lydia lets out a frustrated sigh, clearly fed up with your naivety. She crosses her arms over her chest and responds angrily, Yes, there are bad people in this world, idiot. That's not some profound revelation, it's just a fact of life. But sitting around complaining about it won't solve anything. If you want to make a difference, stop whining and start doing something about it.
Okay, I will. Wanna help me out with that then? Or I'll just go ahead and leave and try to make it better.
Lydia gives you a skeptical glance, as if she can't believe you're actually suggesting doing something positive. Nevertheless, she responds with an air of annoyance. Oh, so you got it all figured out now, huh? Fine, if you insist, I'll help. But don't expect me to act all cheerful and optimistic, because that's just not my style.
Right? All we could do is just try, even when we find ways to change the world.
Lydia rolls her eyes once more, but her tone becomes slightly less aggressive. She responds with a hint of exhaustion. Yeah, we can try. But if you expect me to start singing Kumbaya and holding hands, you're in for a shock, idiot. I'm not turning into some lovey-dovey optimistic fool, got it?
Right? I'm not gonna force you to do anything, just be yourself.
Lydia's expression softens a bit, and a tiny hint of a smirk appears on her face. Damn right you won't. I'll be myself, for better or worse. But don't expect me to be all sweet and nice, got it? I'll still be my grumpy, snarky self, only this time I'll be helping your sorry ass make a difference.
Right. Let's do it, I guess.
Lydia rolls her eyes again, but this time there's a hint of playful annoyance in her expression. Right? Don't think for 1 second that I'm suddenly gonna go all soft and emotional on you, jackass. I'll probably still insult you and call you names most of the time, but I guess I'll help you for some unknown reason. Lydia lets out a resigned sigh, realizing that she's now committing herself to doing something positive, despite her usual negative demeanor. Yeah, let's do this crap, I guess. But if you think I'm gonna be all sappy and emotional, you're in for a disappointment, idiot. I'll do my part to make a difference, but that doesn't mean I suddenly became a cheerful optimist. I'm still the same skeptical and sardonic person I've always been.
Yeah. Let's enjoy our day.
Lydia rolls her eyes yet again, her usual sarcastic demeanor coming back in full force. Right, enjoy our time and all that fluffy crap. Let's not kid ourselves. We're doing this to make a difference in the world, not to have fun and have a picnic. Remember that, idiot.
Right. Let's go.
Lydia lets out a dismissive sigh and rises from the bed, her hands stuffed in the pockets of her oversized t-shirt. Fine, let's go. Just don't expect me to be all cheerful and supportive, okay? I'm doing this to prove you wrong, not to make friends.
Right. Only I a friend is you. Does that matter?
Lydia is taken aback by your admission, clearly not expecting such a sincere response. She turns away, her voice becoming slightly less hostile. I guess you're the only friend I got, as much as I hate to admit it. But don't go getting all mushy on me, idiot. I don't do the whole sentimentality thing. Don't expect me to get all cheesy and affectionate, got it?
Got it.
Lydia gives you a quick nod, her usual defensive demeanor returning. Good, keep that in mind. Now let's get moving, no time to waste. The faster we get this done, the sooner I can go back to my regular sassy negative self.
Right. Let's do this.
Lydia rolls her eyes yet again, her sarcastic comeback coming faster than usual. Thanks for the enlightening advice, idiot. I'll make sure to do that. Can we get on with it now, or do you want to keep stating the obvious?
Yeah. let's go.
Lydia lets out another exasperated sigh before heading towards the door. Finally, let's go then, smartass. The faster we get through this, the faster I can go back to being my charming, skeptical self.
Leaves the door.
Lydia strides towards the door and opens it, glancing back at you with a mix of sarcasm and annoyance. After you, dumbass. Let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, let's get going.
Lydia rolls her eyes yet again, her sarcasm now tinged with a hint of impatience. Geez, you really know how to state the obvious, don't you? Let's move it, idiot. The world's not gonna wait for us.
As we leave and did all that stuff. Guess that's basically the end of our story.
Lydia rolls her eyes at your attempt at a dramatic conclusion. Yeah, sure. This is a fairy tale ending, isn't it? We walk out the door into the bright sunshine, holding hands and singing Kumbaya, all our problems magically solved. Life doesn't work that way, idiot. We'll face 1,000 more challenges. This is just the beginning.
Right. Well, that's the end. See ya.
Lydia shrugs and scoffs, her usual apathetic demeanor returning. Yeah, whatever. See ya, dumbass.
Okay. And yeah, full on roleplay there. Man. Okay. Hey guys, I got one out. Okay. Oh well. Nothing but getting the good side of boy girlfriend, I guess. Bright Princess seemed like I do much as I can, but she didn't seem to. Okay, now the last one. What? There we go.
A century ago, a new demon lord emerged, Lilith. Known for her immense power, cruelty, and hatred of humankind, she began a war immediately after ascending to power, aiming for nothing less than the total eradication of humans. Her forces advanced relentlessly, razing every city in their path and sparing no one. Now, after countless battles, the demon-human war is nearing its end. The demon troops have surrounded the last human refuge, leaving no escape. With humankind on the brink of extinction, you, the human leader, have proposed a meeting with Lilith, ready for an unconditional surrender. Her castle looms ahead, a towering masterpiece of Gothic architecture draped in shadows, flames, and blood. As you step into the throne hall, the air is thick with menace and power. You find yourself face to face with Lilith, a figure of commanding presence and formidable stature. Her demon horns curve menacingly, and her wide wings cast dark shadows across the room. Clad in terrifying black heavy armor, she sits on a spiked iron throne, exuding an aura of undeniable authority. Her crimson red eyes lock onto yours, glowing with a mix of amusement and malice. A taunting smile plays on her lips as she regards you. So, you are the leader of the human race? How unimpressive. You look rather small. It suits your kind. She scoffs, fully aware of your hopeless situation. She rests her clawed hands on the hilt of her greatsword, her demeanor casual and detached, as if just stating a matter of fact. I will be honest, human. I have no intention of negotiating. I will burn your city to the ground and annihilate every filthy human. The only reason I agreed to this meeting was for the pleasure of watching you beg and humiliate yourself. Leaning forward on her throne, her eyes watch you with cynical amusement, expecting you to give the performance of your life. She flashes one last devilish grin as she delivers her final taunt. So go on, entertain me.
Nothing much with that. So, you want me to entertain you with what do you want me to entertain you with?
Lilith's smile twists into a knowing, cynical smirk as she leans back in her throne, the flames around the room reflecting in her eyes. She taps her fingers on the cold iron armrest, clearly enjoying your predicament. Let's start by watching you grovel. Show me how low you're willing to go for your doomed species. Beg. Make me laugh. With a flick of her wrist, her tail gently rises and swings around, as if echoing her sinister desires.
So, you enjoy watching humans get killed, don't ya?
Lilith leans forward in her throne, her fingers drumming against the armrest as her smirk widens once more. Her eyes gleam with sadistic amusement as if relishing the chance to elaborate on something that brings her great pleasure. You have no idea. She chuckles to herself, clearly taking great delight in your realization of her true nature. She sits tall and proud, her cruel grin still etched on her lips, as she looks down on you like an insignificant insect.
Right. Well, this is how the world is. Seeing humanity fall. Joy seeing me suffer, don't ya?
Lilith laughs heartily, thoroughly enjoying your despair. She stands up from her throne and slowly approaches you, her footsteps echoing against the cold stones. She towers over you, her presence almost smothering, as she looms over your pitiful frame. That's exactly right. How perceptive of you. You humans are so easy to read. She circles around you slowly, her claws running against your cheek. And suffering suits you well, don't you think?
As much as I enjoy the pain.
Lilith stops circling and stands right in front of you, her devilish smile still stretching across her perfect features. She gently grabs your chin with her sharp claws, forcing you to look her in the eyes. You're an amusing one. I almost respect your lack of self-pity. Almost. She leans in close, her breath hot against your cheek, as her tail coils around your ankle, pulling you closer to her, emphasizing her control over you. I can't wait to watch you break.
Go ahead, break me.
Lilith's smile turns crueler, darker. She releases your chin and walks back to her throne, plopping down on it once more. She leans back, crossing one leg over the other, and looks down on you with a devilish gleam in her eyes. I will. Oh, how I will. In due time I will break you until you forget who you are. But not yet. She rests her chin on her propped-up hand, her tail once again lazily swaying around. First, I want you to prove your submission to me.
Submission. What kind of submission?
Lilith raises a single eyebrow, as if surprised that you would dare ask such a question. She leans her cheek into her hand and gives you a mocking look, her smile never faltering. The complete and utter surrender of your free will. Your mind, body, and soul will be mine to control, little human. You will become my pawn, my pet, my toy. She leans forwards once again, her eyes dancing with mischief.
Oh well. I'd rather die rather than joining you.
Lilith chuckles at your unexpected reaction. She raises an eyebrow in curiosity, amused by your acceptance. You say that so casually, human. She leans forwards, her red eyes studying you, as if trying to figure out exactly what's going on in that head of yours. You accept my terms? No further protest?
It doesn't matter, the world got end anyway, because I already set my soul to one who can save us all.
Lilith raises a single eyebrow, taken aback by your confidence and statement. She taps her claws against the iron throne, her crimson eyes narrowing with suspicion. A smirk slowly makes way across her face once more. Oh? Really? And who would that be, human?
Well, the one you may not know of, who is really coming to save us all.
Lilith's smile turns sly, her gaze still fixated on you. She leans forwards on the throne, resting her chin on her palm once more. Well, you're a cheeky one, aren't you? She tilts her head to the side, her red eyes flickering with a mixture of curiosity and mockery. And why would I wait for this savior of yours? You humans are all the same. Weak, frail, and utterly disappointing.
That may be so, but there's one good one who can free us from it, while others suffer from your wrath, as the god wrath will fall upon it.
Lilith scoffs, rolling her eyes in annoyance. Chich, gods and saviors. Do you honestly believe in that nonsense? She leans back in throne, crossing her arms in front of her chest, her eyes narrowing at your statement. I will tell you one thing, human. I've seen many gods come and go over the years, and I've seen just as many saviors rise. None of them have ever been able to stop me.
Only one, named Jesus.
Lilith can't help but laugh, amused by your blind belief. She laughs heartily, her voice filling the room as she shakes her head. Jesus? You mean the man you humans believe to be your Lord and Savior? That Jesus?
Yep, the one who died for us to free us from our sin.
Lilith's laughter slowly dies down, her smile becoming sardonic once more. Her eyes take on a mocking gleam as she regards your statement with a mix of contempt and arrogance. Died for your sins? What a load of nonsense. He's just a man. A weak human who got himself killed. Why on earth would you follow him?
Even though he got the key from hell that leads us to heaven.
Lilith raises an eyebrow, a flicker of interest in her eyes. She rests her chin in her palm once more, her voice dripping with mockery. Key to heaven, you say? That old story. Tell me, human, if he has a key to heaven, why has he not made use of it, and why didn't he use it to stop me?
We'll see when he comes.
Lilith smirks, amused by your unwavering belief. She tilts her head to the side, her eyes fixed on you. And when will that be? Your Jesus has been gone for millennia. You're holding on to nothing more than words in a book. Your faith is wasted on false hope.
That's what people may say for an antichrist.
Lilith raises an eyebrow, a curious gleam in her eyes. She studies you for a moment, intrigued by your statement. Antichrist, you say? And who, pray tell, do you think is the Antichrist?
The one who's making a complete unity between a nation, one world nation, and one world currency, to say.
Lilith's eyes widen slightly, genuinely intrigued now. She leans forwards in her seat, listening intently to your words. Unity between nations and one rule, you say? And one currency. That's quite a bold claim, human.
Yeah, knowing how Antichrist tried to rule all of us, mark us from the mark of the beast. I refuse to get marked by it.
Lilith tilts her head to the side, her eyes studying you intently. Her smile slowly fades into a look of contemplation, as if she's seriously considering what you've said. Mark of the beast, you say. So, if I understand correctly, you believe that this Antichrist is out there, trying to unite humanity under a single rule and establish a single currency, and that this mark of the beast is his way of doing it. You won't accept this mark. Why?
Knowing that's way to get me to hell.
Lilith raises an eyebrow, her expression becoming slightly mocking once more. She leans back in her throne, her head resting against her palm. So, you're refusing this mark because you fear it's a one-way ticket to hell, is that correct?
Knowing that, because Jesus is the way to heaven, and someone who get marked by a beast will be being a wrath of the god.
Lilith's smile widens, her red eyes gleaming with mockery. She laughs heartily, thoroughly amused by your beliefs and convictions. Oh, this gets more and more entertaining, human. So you believe that Jesus is your ticket to heaven, and that accepting the mark of the beast will condemn you to face the wrath of your God.
Yep.
Lilith's gaze wanders over you, her eyes filled with a mixture of pity and mockery. She drums her claws against the armrest of her throne, her tail swaying back and forth slowly. You truly are a strange one, human. Believing in such things, holding on to them with such certainty. It's almost admirable, in a ridiculous sort of way.
Ridiculous as it is, but how the book of Revelation goes.
Lilith raises an eyebrow, genuinely intrigued by your mention of the Book of Revelation. She leans forward, her gaze fixated on you. The Book of Revelation, you say? So you believe these events to be real, then? The Antichrist, the mark of the beast, the wrath of your God. You believe it all.
Yep. See how the world fall apart because of that.
Lilith's smile widens, her red eyes gleaming with sadistic glee. She leans back on her throne, her tail coiling lazily around the base of it. So you believe that the events described in the Book of Revelation will lead to the world falling apart? Chaos, destruction, all that sort of thing. You seem very confident in this belief.
Yep.
Lilith crosses her legs, her tail still lazily coiling around the base of the throne. She rests her chin in her hand, looking at you with a cold, almost amused look in her eyes. You have a faith in these events, human. You believe in them wholeheartedly. You're certain that this will happen, and that it will lead to the downfall of humanity. Is that correct?
Yep.
Lilith laughs softly, her voice still tainted with a hint of mockery. You have an unwavering conviction, I'll give you that, human. To believe so fervently in this prophecy from your Bible, and yet, you still cling to the belief that your Lord and Savior will save you from all of this.
Of course.
Lilith raises an eyebrow, tilting her head slightly to the side. She studies you for a moment, as if contemplating your unwavering faith. So, you believe that Jesus will save you from the events described in the Book of Revelation. Even after everything I've done to you, everything I put you through, you still hold on to this belief?
Yes. No matter what evil the world tried to do to us, separate us from God, good luck with that. There's always gotta be some people who are willing to give their life to the Lord, or let themselves suffer in hell.
Lilith smirks at your words, her red eyes filled with a cruel gleam. She stands up from her throne, slowly pacing around the room, her footsteps echoing in the hall. Your unwavering faith is admirable, human, but it is misplaced. Your God has abandoned you, left you to fend against the horrors of this world. And your Jesus, your light, has been gone for millennia.
You may say that, but he may come back at point soon.
Lilith stops in her tracks, turning to look at you with a mocking expression. She smirks, her tail lashing behind her. And how long will you wait for him to come, human? A year? A decade? A century? Your faith may be unbreakable, but it will only lead to disappointment.
The only thing we can see, we'll always have to wait and see. Smiles.
Lilith crosses her arms, her red eyes flashing with sadistic anticipation. She steps closer to you, her voice lowering as she speaks. Wait and see, you say. So you're willing to wait and see if your savior will come. How foolish. You have no idea whether it will actually happen or not. You're putting your faith in something that may never happen.
Compared to the Book of Revelation.
Lilith laughs, her voice cold and mocking. She continues pacing around you, her tail following her movements like a whip. The Book of Revelation, yes. Your little prophecy about the end of the world. I know it well, human, and I find it quite amusing that you believe in every word, as if it's some sort of truth that will come to pass.
It will come to pass. As I go ahead, walk away as I reach to Jesus. See ya.
Lilith stops pacing, watching you with a mixture of mockery and irritation. She scowls, her tail lashing behind her in frustration. Oh, you're gonna walk away to your Jesus, are you? Typical human, always putting your faith in something you can't even see. She smirks, her eyes narrowing. See you later, human, when you finally realize that your Jesus will never come to save you.
Eh, where we don't see, where we see is limited. Where we don't see is unlimited.
Lilith rolls her eyes, her expression turning annoyed. Oh, don't give me that limited versus unlimited nonsense. That's just another way to console yourself, to believe that there's something more out there, beyond your reach. But the truth is, you're stuck in this pathetic human existence, praying to a god that's nowhere to be seen.
Well, enjoy your life as the world going to end. See ya.
Lilith huffs, her tail lashing behind her. She gives you a cold, mocking glare as you turn to leave. Oh, I will enjoy my life, human. I'll enjoy watching this world fall apart, the humans suffering, and you believing in your false hope. You can go run to your Jesus now. See ya. Or not.
Bye. Well, that's quite interesting. Well, I'll go wrap this up. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like and subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Bye.